She was just a great baby. She was like the best baby. I remember even writing in this little journal that I kept that I said, I remember I even went back to look at it later. I said, "You're so good, it's almost scary." You know, the first year was, it was perfect for any child, and that Thisbe hit all of her milestones. You know, she was, if anything, she was probably a little ahead. The future looked really bright and promising, and then at 16 months, she started with a wheeze, an inspiratory wheeze. It was a slow descent down that we didn't know was coming, but it just kept stacking up, all of these things that she was losing. You know, she's supposed to be going the opposite direction, you know, for a then, 18-month-old. Yeah.
Her eyelids started drooping again. The muscles in her eyelids were being attacked. Her hearing, the vocal cords, the smile, that huge smile, was disappearing.
Brown-Valletto-Van Leer syndrome is BVVL syndrome. It's in a class of diseases that impair the peripheral nervous system. So the motor neurons quit working. And when they stop working, then they don't have the ability anymore to send the messages to the muscles to move.
It's like a cord, an extension cord, and that extension cord gets frayed in the middle. And so you plug it in, and sometimes it works, and other times it doesn't. Why? Well, the connection's not getting through, that electricity's not getting through, and that's what happens with motor neuron diseases and BVVL.
It was the worst thing. It was the worst thing that could possibly happen to her. And when it's sitting there on paper, and there are only 38 cases at the time ever documented in 100 years, and they all died, horrific deaths, slow descending paralysis, with cognitive function perfectly intact. It was perfect as I thought Thisbe was. Noah was even more perfect as a baby, and that he had everything. He came into this household with all of this trauma going on. So we actually said, you know what? He's a blessing. He's come to us because he's going to show his sister how to get better. And we didn't mean to have him, but look how great. I mean, he's gonna show us all the way. We'd already made the decision with Noah when he got sick that we would not prolong the disease. We would not trach him. And so by doing that, we knew we would cut the time that we would have with him, but we wouldn't let him suffer like we saw Thisbe suffer. It was a brand new, like a light bulb that went off, because I'd spent, 2.5 years doing research every waking moment that I possibly had with Thisbe. So what it ended up doing is it just caused me to ask different questions to these people who I had before said, what are you trying on your patients? Then I started emailing them and saying, do you know of anyone who can help us find the gene? We found this doctor. He didn't have what he needed, which was a sequencing machine. And so to make a long story short, we got him. We got him a sequencer through this other researcher who was willing to help. And the NIH came on board, and we were starting our way. And then I think within 2 months of all that really great stuff happening, Noah died.
What happened to Thisbe and Noah can't continue to happen. And so that's what's kept us kind of keep going. Thisbe and Noah are not here with us anymore. And the only thing that we have is the foundation. And if we can save some lives, then that's keeping Thisbe and Noah alive.
The mission of the Thisbe and Noah Scott Foundation is to provide support, awareness, and research for families of pediatric neuromuscular diseases.
What our foundation has helped do, it's in the money that we've raised, we've been able to help find the gene for this disease. We've helped develop a test for this disease. We've helped find other families out there that have the disease that had no idea. They were searching online to figure out what is going on with my kid, and we've been a forum for them. We've helped families that have the disease get them devices and offer support to those families. And now we're creating, working with Harvard. The money that we've raised is going to Harvard to help find an actual cure or some sort of treatment for this disease. So, since Thisbe and Noah died, we've come such a long way to help families not have to do what we had to do.
Every donation that we receive, no matter how big or how small, is truly life-changing and makes a difference. Whether it be with research, where we are trying to continue to knock out neuromuscular diseases one by one through research, just continuing to educate people about these diseases and about our foundation. And then through support, we want to create a community of support for these children and their families. Our ultimate goal is the Thisbe and Noah Scott Center. This is a place where children and their families can come, where when they walk in the door, instead of going into a hospital where sometimes it can be sterile, you walk in and you're comforted and it's warm and inviting. You might have music playing in the background or pets walking around that are doing pet therapy. It is a place where you come and you're greeted by a team of doctors, nurses, counselors, therapists to do it all in one place. From a purely foundation support, it's huge. To take a disease that nobody knew about in just 5 years, and it already has a treatment. And so it gives hope for those parents who have kids with SMA. Let's keep fighting, let's keep moving forward, and we too will find a treatment and hopefully a cure for that one day also.
The hardest part about all this is that SMA is the #1 genetic killer of infants and toddlers around the world, and most people have never heard of it. 1 in every 35 people carries the gene. And it's hard to raise money for a disease that most people have never heard of, even though it's very prolific. Neuromuscular diseases, they just don't have many champions, and they're really terrible diseases. And most of them have no cure. Most of them are a death sentence. And so with so few champions, we're stepping up, and not only do we want to cure them, but we want to be able to make lives better until there's a cure for each and every one.